Hello, HyperSpring employees. My name is Derek Okonski. I'm the HR manager at GSE Systems. First of all, we welcome you to our company. We're excited to begin working with you. I must apologize here at the beginning of this recording. Just getting over a cold, so my voice is a little spotty. So if you could just bear with me for about 10 minutes, we should be able to get through this. I intend to give you a brief tutorial on your timesheets and expense reports using the Oracle Time and Expense system that we use here at GSE Systems. The screen I'm showing now is an email that you will receive with this video recording, and I want to bring your attention to the URL link for the Oracle Access site. Please be aware that in order to access this site, you need to first be logged into the VPN that you have hopefully already downloaded. It's a secure network that we use for our time and expense system for remote employees. So I'm going to first click on the link, which is also in this attached manual. That will take us to the website. And the first thing it's going to do is bring us to the login screen. And your username and password are also going to be listed in the email that I'm showing here. Again, it'll be your first name dot your last name, and your temporary default password is welcome123, all lowercase. And you will notice as soon as you log in that it will immediately ask you to change your temporary password. But for demonstration purposes, I'm going to use a demo account that we have called HyperSpring Employee. So when we log in here, all you need to do is input your username and password. You do not need to change the accessibility option. So I just put the password in. It is logged in. The screen, the home screen it's showing right now, the areas you want to pay attention to are right here. There are two options. One is expenses. It calls them GSE HyperSpring Internet Expenses, and the other one says GSE HyperSpring Self-Service Time. This is your timesheets. So the first example I'm going to show is your timesheet, and I'm going to click the link, which will open up the drop-down below. Another option, instead of clicking the link, is to click the plus sign, but where you want to go is Create Time Card. Further down the road, after you do a few of these, you might want to save a template, and after that point, you'd be able to complete your timesheets by just clicking the template option, and it would populate and bring up the template that you had saved previously. But for now, the first time you do this, you're going to click on Create Time Card, which will bring you to your time card screen. Now, the first thing I want to bring your attention to is the time period that we're looking at. This is December 1st through December 14th. And what you're going to notice on that email that I'm going to bring back up again is there's an attachment called HyperSpring Employee Project Number List. If I look at this, I'm going to use Carl Brewer as an example. This list has the project numbers for all employees that will be using Oracle for timesheets and expense reports. You see next to Carl Brewer in row 8, he has a project number listing of WLF9786. I'm going to go back to the timesheet screen, and in the first field under Project, I'm going to click on the magnifying glass, which will open up another screen. And here, in this field, we can search for what project we want, or you can leave it blank and click Go, and it will search automatically and bring up all of the project options. Currently, there are roughly 28, but what I wanted to do is search for WLF, because again, that was the project number for Carl Brewer. It started with WLF, so the easier way to do that will be just to search WLF, and I clicked Go. It brought me to WLF 9786, which is Wolf Creek ILT Instructors. So this is the project that I want to select to charge to. An easy way to do that, instead of toggling the select button, is just to click on this quick select area that I'm holding my mouse over right now. So what that should have done is filled in the project box with the appropriate charge number. Next, we're going to move to the right and look at task. And for this, click on the magnifying glass. And what you want to do is just search the blank field. It'll bring up all possible charge options. And you're going to see two options, billable and non-billable. Almost all of your time will be billable to the customer. So for almost all of your hours, you will be charging billable. I'm going to click on the quick select icon to auto-populate that. But for some things, you might have non-billable work. I would always talk to Jennifer Lumpkin about any non-billable work. Again, almost all of your chargeable hours will be billable to the customer. And then for type of charge, I'm going to click the magnifying glass again. And I'm just going to leave this field blank so that it pulls up when I search all possible options. And it does show me holiday, labor, overtime, straight vacation hours. Because most of you are hourly contractors, almost all of your time will be labor, but there may be occasions where you have overtime that will be either time and a half or straight time. Please, again, if you want to charge those hours, please speak with Jennifer Lumpkin beforehand. Almost all of your hours will be charged to labor. So we have the correct project, we have the correct task, and the correct labor type, which is labor. For country code, you're almost always going to be in the U.S. And for state, you're going to put in the state that you're working in. I'm going to just assume Alabama for this specific charge code. And then moving over from left to right, it shows days of the week in that pay period. And you'll just want to put in the number of hours you worked. I'm just going to put in 8 hours for Monday, toggle tab to the right, 8 hours for Tuesday, all the way through the week, no hours in the weekend, skip to Monday of the next week, all the way over to Friday. Whoops, do not put any hours in Sunday and Saturday unless you work them, all the way till Friday, December 12th. And a good way to see if you have the appropriate charge hours in is just to do a quick save. And when the site's loading, if you go over to the right in the bottom for total hours, it's going to show you that for that pay period there were 80 hours, and it should be almost every pay period for you guys like that. And from here, if this is the project you're going to be on for an extended period of time, it might be a good idea to save it as a template and name it. That way, moving forward, when you try to do future timesheets, you can just load the template and save yourself some time. But assuming you're all done, you would click Continue here. And you would do a quick review of the project, the task, the type of charge, the country code and state code, and then the hours that you've put in. And you'd click Submit, and it would go to Jennifer Lumpkin for approval. I'm going to click on the home screen now, which is located where my mouse is. It's going to take us back to the home screen. Again, to go past that point, you should have clicked Submit, but I didn't have anyone to submit that to, as this is just a demonstration account. So if you remember just a minute ago, we actually saved that timesheet, and we didn't submit it. So if you had decided to do that maybe halfway through a pay period, do your timesheet and save it, and didn't submit it, it would still be out there under Recent Time Cards. So I'm going to click on Recent Time Cards to show you where that would be. And it's actually showing right here as a time card that is working for the pay period of December 1st through the 14th. And what you'll want to do, if you want to finish that or update it, is click on Update. It will bring us back to the time card screen, and you can make any edits that you wish. Perhaps you didn't work this day after all, and you can go back and you can save it. So now I'm going to go back to the home screen, That's really the conclusion of the timesheet tutorial. They're fairly straightforward. Again, any questions, please direct them to Jennifer Lumpkin. I'm going to next briefly demonstrate an expense report. For this, just click on the link, HyperSpring Internet Expenses. And that's going to bring up this screen. And it shows we have one in progress, but I'm going to delete that and start from scratch. And confirm that we want to delete that. So now the screen will look like this. And this is the expense home screen. Shows that right here. So first thing we want to do is click on Create Expense Report. By default, it'll have the appropriate department that you are in. And the default expense type is direct, meaning that's something that's billable to the customers. The other option would be indirect, which would be appropriate for some of the corporate staff to use, like Lee Smith or Jennifer Lumpkin, for instance, if they're charging a trip to a customer site or to maybe the GSE headquarters in Maryland. Again, it's an expense, indirect, that you don't charge directly to the customers. So for our purposes, the default is going to be direct, and almost all of your expenses will be charged that way. If you have any questions, please reach out to Jennifer Lumpkin. So I'm going to just pretend that this is an expense report for a flight to customer site. And your supervisor should almost always be Jennifer Lumpkin. But for our purposes, I'm going to use the GSE payroll manager, Julia Sullivan. Again, you see a magnifying glass here. That means you can search through all eligible employees. But in most cases, when you log in here, by default, it should have the appropriate department, expense type, and supervisor. So after you put in your purpose for the charge, you should click on Next. Then it will load the next screen where you'd start over here with the date. And in this field, you want to put in the date that the charge or the expense happened. I'll just put in today's date, December 11th. The receipt amount, I'll say that it was a $655 flight. And for the expense type, there's a drop down here. There are several options that you can look through, but this is going to be air or rail. Again, it's a flight. Justification, you can use the same language you used in the previous screen. Flight to customer, you say site. Okay, so we've gotten this far. Next, you want to click on the details icon under the word details, and that's going to bring up a screen where it wants some specific details about this charge. The first area under expense type, it's pulled from the previous screen, air rail, that we already selected. It has the date we already put in, the amount, and in case it's an overseas travel, it will want the currency type. For most of you, it'll always be US dollar. And then it has, again, the reimbursable amount, which is populated from the original amount. The justification, it pulled this from the other screen. Expense location is going to be the state that you are in. And the merchant name, let's say Southwest. So here it wants the expense location, so that the state that we were in. If it's overseas, it can just be the country that you were in. The merchant name, and then right here, very important, there's an area where you can click to upload a receipt. This is where you would upload your flight itinerary and receipt. You'd click Add. It would pull up an additional screen where you could put in your flight itinerary. You don't need to leave a description. Category, you could put receipts, and this area here, Click on Choose File, and you can search through your computer to upload hopefully a scanned PDF of that file. And then you'd click on Apply. Right here, it popped up an error because I haven't uploaded anything. So I'm just going to go to Cancel and finish describing this screen. Assuming you had clicked on Add and uploaded your receipt, it would then want to know some additional information. The class of your ticket, total number, location was from Alabama to Ohio, as an example. And then you'd click on Return to go back to the previous screen. And from here, you could take a quick scan of your information to make sure it's correct, and you'd click Next. Lastly, and again, this is step 3 out of 4. Lastly, it let you review your information. And it does ask for some additional information, which are these empty fields over here. Project. Again, it'll want you to charge it to your specific project. And I'm going to use the same example we used earlier with Carl Brewer, which was WLF. I'm going to type in WLF, click Go. Found the project right there. That's the appropriate project he wants to charge to. It filled it in. Task. I'm going to search all available options. This is going to be billable to the customer. And the project expenditure organization that says Huntsville, that's the default for the HyperSpring office, Huntsville, the headquarters. So that should always be filled in correctly, but feel free to add it if you'd like. Then you click Next. It'd take you to the final review screen, where down here you can review all of your information, the date, the amount, the type, the justification, the merchant name. Right here it'll show you whether you've submitted a receipt or not. This one's saying it's required because of the expense amount. And from here we can just submit, and it will be submitted for approval. And reimbursements are reimbursed every Friday if they are submitted in time for the Thursday review. Again, for expense reports, just like timesheets, you can save whenever you want. And if I go back to the home screen, you can click on the expense report home, and it will show you right here a report number that we saved, and you can click right here on Update to finish it, edit, change it, or submit it. That concludes our Oracle Time and Expense Report tutorial. Good luck, and hopefully if you have any issues, Jennifer Lumpkins will be able to answer them for you. Thanks for your time.